Okay, so I'm getting ready to make roast in the crock pot, and this is how I do it. All the vegetables have already been washed off, so I'm not putting nasty stuff in here, but I'm just going to show you how to prepare it, and then at the end I'll show you when it's done. So, tomatoes, these are the kind that come still attached to the little vines. Those in. Baby carrots, 3-pound bag. I'm just gonna eyeball about half of it. Too easy. Summer squash, they didn't have very big ones, so I'll lop the ends off. All the stuff that I cut off that I'm not gonna put in the food, I save and cut it up and throw it in the backyard when I'm done for the birds, or so it can decompose and help the plants grow. It's nothing fancy, it just breaks it down so it'll cook better and it'll be more per serving, I guess. See, that didn't even cut all the way through. There. Potatoes, I got the white ones. And then last but not least, I put in one bunch of parsley. And this isn't so much for flavoring as it is parsley acts like a natural broom inside your intestines and helps push everything along so it will go down the line and get digested properly and then push out the rest. I'm just going to go through and cut it that way. And then cut it this way just to break it down so I can more evenly disperse it in the crock pot. Nothing fancy. I'm not a chef. I just like to make a big meal on Sundays so that the whole family has enough for supper, and then it also makes enough for my lunches afterwards for work. Bone broth. That's the kind I get right there. Just gonna pour it into a cup. Just cut the top off. It's powder. Pour it in there. clumps out. Okay, pour it in there. Spring water from the store. Fill that just about full. Stir it up. Now this will like to stick to the sides of the glass, especially at the bottom, whatever you're stirring it in. So just make sure you scrape the bottom. You don't want to leave any behind. I'm pouring this in for the water content of the vegetables that'll be underneath the roast. That way it doesn't get dried out, it don't stick to the crock pot, and it adds a certain amount of flavor. Not a strong flavor, just, you know, something. I'm just kind of mixing this all together so the potatoes, carrots, squash, tomatoes, and parsley are more evenly distributed. I'm not actually going to season it because I don't want it overbearing, and everyone kind of has their own personal taste. I will season the roast while I'm searing it, and then put that on top, and then just let it cook as is. Plus, we all eat a low sodium diet, so that was, well, I don't know if it's low sodium beef broth, but it's not high sodium. So here's what it looks like in the crock pot. Now I'm going to pause this for a minute while I get the meat taken out of the package and put in the skillet, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I took the roast out of the package, I rinsed it, and then I rubbed down the fat side in olive oil and salt, and I've got it in the skillet just to sear all the sides of it so they'll lock in all the juices and it won't dry out while it's cooking. So now I'm going to prepare the other side of it, and yeah, so olive oil. Got pink salt. That's just to help keep it tender and give it some flavor. I don't know if that really works, but that's what I'm thinking it does. Again, I'm not a chef. Let me wash my hands. Now I'm going to use liquid smoke. Not as good as the real thing, but better than nothing. White pepper. And I'm putting on quite a bit. It's more than I would use if I was just eating it now. But it's going to be in a crock pot for 8 hours, so. Garlic. Okay. I'm just going to use the spoon, the back side of it, the convex side, kind of rub that in a bit so I don't have to wash my hands again. Now I'm searing the end So essentially there's 6 sides. The 2 big sides, the 2 narrow sides, and the 2 ends. Sear them all. So you get a nice, almost like a skin, like a barrier to lock all the juices in. Otherwise it'll just sit there in a crock pot for 8 hours and leak all the juices out. And what you have will be mostly unedible.
Weird.
I have some of that pepper. See, that's the side that's been seared. Now there's a slit in this side from when I was cutting open the packaging. You can see right here. So I'm going to sear that again, make sure it's seared up inside a bit so stuff don't just leak out of there. And I've got the skillet set to medium-high. You want it fairly hot. The idea isn't to cook it all the way through, you just want to cook a surface around it. Okay, now here's the other big side, the side that I had seasoned earlier. Now I'm going to add some seasoning to, this is the fat side. So when I put it in the crock pot, I'm running the fat side up. That way as it cooks, that fat will turn into juice and wash down over the meat to help keep it moist. I already got salt in there, I don't need more salt. I put in more liquid smoke, more pepper, more garlic. Which reminds me, I forgot to put an onion in with the vegetables. I know I was forgetting something. So, this ain't great, but it's better than nothing. I will just douse some onion powder on top of the meat. I knew I was forgetting something when I was cutting up vegetables. It was the onion. More liquid smoke. Okay, now see the crockpot up in there? Can't. That's okay. I'll show you when I get it in there. So, that's going to lay on top of the vegetables. There. You can see it. Get the meat on top of the vegetables. Rig goes on the meat. I'll put it on low for 8 hours. After it's done, I'll cut it up and show you what it looks like.